Yeah, hello. Good evening. I hope everybody can hear me. Tonight, now another episode again for Upper Reporters and Talk. Me and your host, Upper Reporter himself. We'll get one guest for house, Madam AI. But I want to greet everybody. Thank God it's Friday. Hope on a Friday okay. Hope now they enjoy the weekend. Might not forget the Muslim uh, holiday they come soon by next week. I hope say everyone hope Muslim brother will celebrate in good spirit. Yes, as we don't come today na new show. The show where everybody they wait to talk about the things that is happening with the Apple for our state, Edo State, and talk about the Apple for Nigeria. We'll not waste time too much. We'll go jump into the issue before the other guests to come. Uh, Now when they watch also, make una click the like button for our YouTube, now for Facebook, una click like, una click share, una click subscribe. Make una click like, share, and subscribe. And there's a link on the comment section where if you come the studio, if no can add una uh add una own, uh, to read to get now to talk for the matter.
Hello?
So
Okay.
yeah, I can you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, yes. So thank you for joining me. Quickly we go jump into the matter. I get two topic for today. Other topic go first come up. Uh, Answering without win, yeah, appeal court case, which is predictable, which is not a big news, but it's the news, And secondly, one of our good renowned doctor come out say Tinubu inherit bad government from the person we install. But I go want Madazita talk on that statement without doctor made said Tinubu inherit bad government from the person we install. Madazita, are you there, please? Mother AI.
I am here.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. It's still just starting. I beg, I would like me to talk about the statement where it is a renowned doctor talk make say Tinubu and read back government for the person we install. How do you see the statement?
I don't understand. He said Tinubu said who's talk like that, first of all.
Uh, is Let me quickly get his name. Uh, his name is Dr. Sabowale. He said that Tinubu inherited a big mess from somebody he installed in the office. How do you see that statement?
Actually, I don't really know what you guys call mess.
What do you mean? Come again? Sorry.
I said I don't understand what you guys call mess.
Call
Because
next.
mess, you say he inherited the mess
Yes,
from
okay,
the
yes,
person
mess.
he
Okay.
So I don't really understand what you guys call mess. Because you cannot say overall everything is bad. I don't think that's the right thing for anybody to say. Overall, everything is not bad, and overall, everything is not good. Not
That's
just in
true.
Nigeria, but all over the world. I keep saying that the problem Africans are having is that they do not really have a well-structured welfare packages. That's the problem they're having. Because whatever that is happening in Nigeria and in Africa, I can assure you, in the West, if not for their welfare packages, including that Japan where you are, the whole world would have been in flames now. Because you cannot tell me that what you were buying, the price of phone or anything you were buying in 2019 or 2014 or 2015, that you still buy it the same price today. But sometimes we are not honest with ourselves and we are not ready to tell our people in Nigeria who is looking for opportunity to chapa the truth, so that when they're coming out, they will know what they're facing. Now, back to your question. I don't know what the person mean by mess, because Buhari was not totally bad. He too met a mess. He tried to handle it. He was the president of Nigeria that started bombing from air. Militants and Boko Haram and all that. He was bombing them from air, which resulted to so many casualties of civilians. But nobody will talk about that.
Yes, madam, I can hear you. I think madam has a call. Tukbo, you did there? Tukbo. Anyway, before madam come, yes, I'll agree in one part that nothing is totally bad and nothing is totally good. The administration, it, it gets in your own good side, but let's check if the good side outweigh the bad side. But first of all, the doctor said that Tinubu installed somebody hand over a mess country. Yes, I won't agree with that because Tinubu play a big role of bringing Buhari in. Yes, because of party, go criticizing party member because he himself get ambitious to come into power. But ever since Tinubu don't come into power, I've seen for what people have said or what people are saying, which experts they talk, say Tinubu get good policies, but the problem and how he take the execute the policies now be the problem. You not really get uh, people with the seeing policy through. Now, there are certain things we Tinubu do when he enter power, like uh like uh removing this fuel subsidy by floating the naira and some other policy we make. Some people they very angry, say those policies actually drag us back 20 years. That you not supposed to remove the subsidy. Yeah, me, I would say that subsidy was far due, but perhaps probably there was no a plan B or a cushion effect to cushion the problem. As and I mean to as a shock absorber, as they remove subsidy, there will be a shock absorber where go absorb the 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 pressure we go put on the people, and at the same time they're floating of naira too. So, but there's other policy when Tinubu don't bring out, and people never really see and they manifest. I can say, or maybe I will say, in my opinion, that most of his ministers are not really working. Probably they don't know they don't know their functions of their office, which is now big a problem to uh to the to
Okay.
to the government. Yeah,
Okay.
welcome. Yeah, go
Wait,
ahead, madam.
please. I'm sorry. The phone call was very important. I have to take it.
Oh, it's okay,
Okay.
madam. Go ahead. Mhm.
So, Buhari too met a mess, and he tried to handle it as much as he can. One thing I want to explain to some people is I want to tell you guys the disadvantage of democracy. It's a very big advantage. And most people who are practicing democracy in whatever country you are, they seem to overrule that. Democracy is not dictatorship. Democracy is not communism, where one man will sit down in his office and take a decision and run with it. A lot of approval has to go through. And sometimes you don't even know who is working against you. That's why they call it three arms of government. Whatever that means is a bullshit. So now, if the guy is talking about Tinubu meeting a mess, he should be telling us in the area of mess that Tinubu met and how Tinubu is handling the mess, where he was not able to handle, and where he has been able to handle. No government is totally bad. and no government is totally good. That's what I can say. Yesterday, we were discussing, what is his name? Tinubu's 2 years. That is 29th of May. And to my surprise, there are things the man put down in Nigeria in these 2 years that most Nigerians don't even know. Even when I mentioned it and they found out that it was true, they don't care. It doesn't make any meaning. We cannot only run on the one that is bad. Let's lay all the cards on the table and remove them, discuss the evil, discuss the good. Talk a way forward for the evil. That's how to be very objective. But if we continue in all, everybody is suffering, people are dying everywhere. Is there anywhere in the world people are not suffering? I've said this several times. We were just coming out of COVID. The whole world was coming out of COVID. What did we get? It was a man called Putin, went into war, on endless war, shattered the whole world. The whole world was struggling to stop him. Everybody was trying to put money, help anywhere they can. He has his own supporter. The other country has his own supporter. As we are trying to see if that can be solved, which has never been solved, Israel and Hamas started their own. Hammer. Oh, you think countries are not putting money into that bullshit? Is that what you people think? Come on, man. Let's say it the way it is, and then the consequences. Come on, man. I don't understand, but I don't know what to say again. I thought I came here, let us criticize Tinubu.
No.
And give him accolade in places we give him accolade, and criticize him for his 22nd year, where he has done good and where he has done badly. I thought that's what we are discussing. But if you say we should discuss somebody who is talking about mess, I don't know what is a mess. Because that guy that has a voice that we should discuss here is part of the problem Nigeria is having. I rest my case.
Okay, madam, let me quickly ask you one question. Can you give me 2 areas Tinubu have done well?
Okay, I will give you 2 areas. First of all, I will say something you guys have not noticed. You know, I noticed things very well. When Tinubu assumed position as the president of Nigeria, because of the massive head, you said 2, but I will give you more than 2. And I will tell you the area of leadership skill that he showed. And if you still want me to tell you the area he's not performing well, I will still do that. Because I'm still somebody who monitors things bumper to bumper. Okay. When he became the president, are you saying I should just say it? Well, I should explain it. It depends on what you
You can
want. I don't
explain
know
it. You
how.
can expand on it. You can expand on it
Okay.
if you have time.
When
Yeah.
he became the president, because of the hate and the jingles and the propaganda around him and all that has happened, there was constant brewing for the stabilization of the nation in several ways. Some went to knelt down for him to be overthrown. Some asked for. Then came the strike. That was the one that caught my attention, and I started monitoring it bumper to bumper, because strikes are very important to me. When you are a leader and people whom you govern go on strike, that's when the leadership skill is being shown. On several occasions in his government within these 2 years, strike has brewed up. The way he manages to negotiate with them, both of them might not be on a happy situation, but they end up in something in the middle. They make so much noise about minimum wage. And I know there are people who are gingering, paying for those strikes to brew up. But he contended. Yes, 70,000 naira is not money, according to some people. It cannot carry family, according to some people. But the important thing is that the other side did not go empty-handed. He too did not go empty-handed. He was able to convince them. Can we do something reasonable that is sustainable? And they ended up agreeing on 70,000. They came up with 200,000, 150, 100. He pleaded with them somehow, even if it's not a plea, he cajoled them. That's the word that we use. They accepted it. Universities have not gone on strike there. Before he became president, university went to a strike or what? They lost how many years? As usual. But in his 2 years, have they? Did they try to? Of course, yes. On several occasions, of course, yes. That is number one. Number two, he did student loan. It might not be perfect, but the important thing is starting something. When you start something, everything human start, you learn in the process. You get complaint, you update it, you continue perfecting it because the world is evolving. That I have siblings today who benefited from that student loan and the stipend is something. Now, medical, which is so much important to me. His administration, it might not mean anything to anybody, but it means so much to me. Because some people wake up every day, they feel okay. Do you people know that within 2 years, Tinubu have 3 cancer centers working? He agreed, he campaigned for 5. But within 2 years, he has established functional 3. I don't end there. Do you know that today in Nigeria, today is free cesarean?
Oh, really? Which of the
Free cesarean session for any pregnant woman in Nigeria. Go back and check it. Any woman who has complication in her pregnancy, and you and I know how much cesarean section costs. This man put it on free. How many have I given you? 3. You want me to continue? But those things are not important to any average Nigerian. Why? Because the prices of food in the market are high. It is not only in Nigeria. Did he put policies that skyrocketed? I would say yes. Sometimes government put policies that we give the market a shock. And when that shock happens, a lot of things definitely is going to go bad. Does that happen elsewhere? Yes. Within time, if the government try, within time, will it come down? Probably yes. Can he stabilize this? Probably yes. Will it come skyrocketing? Probably yes. It depends on how they handle it. For those who say prices never come down, but in his system, in his government of 2 years, prices have gone up several times and came down. That it didn't come down the exact amount that it was before it went up doesn't mean it did not come down. Ask me another one.
Okay, madam. You said something that was very interesting. You said he has set up some medical centers, the restaurant is free, but the price of food is still up. Why is that food not really coming down?
It came
What's the
down,
problem?
but it didn't come down to the price of it was when it started skyrocketing. But it came down. Prices of most food item has come down. And there is something he has done, which the shipper here told me. He said on that area that he might be looking at, because he's a Ghanaian. I think I told you about him on our private discussion. I told you about the Ghanaian who ships things to Ghana, but refused to have anything to do with Nigeria. There's something he said Tinubu put in place. If you are bringing in like foodstuffs, for family, not to sell. You don't need any what is it called? Like you package things now, canned food, you put it with few handmade down clothes, shoes, secondhand stuffs, add food to eat. You don't need to pay.
Okay.
Even if it's a container load, you don't need to pay. So far as it's ascertained that it's for the family, you don't need to pay.
Okay.
Because
That's
they
nice.
monitor it. Those things, they're rare, and then we call them to come and pick it there. Your family will come and pick it and move. Whether they sell it again in the market, I don't know about that. But if it's going to any business place, you're gonna have issue with the government. And I plead with every Nigerian to at least look inwardly. Don't be so angry and so hateful. Look inwardly. Let's pick those things he's not doing good in and scream at him, banter at him, give him solution. That way the country will move forward. Even if we don't want to discuss the good things he's doing. But let's be honest. Discussing the bad things, the things is, let me not use word good and bad, because all of them are one evil, ridiculous human beings. Let me use things that are getting right and the things that are not getting right. Ask me another question.
Okay. What about the employment sector? What's he doing about that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me tell you what he did. Because in Nigeria, as I said before, education became a tradition instead of what it's supposed to be. I repeat, in Nigeria, somewhat education become a tradition. That's why somebody can go to university, study religious knowledge. I really sometimes do ask, do you actually want to be a pastor, a reverend father? That's why somebody will go to the university and study Igbo. And now you ask, how many classrooms and Igbo lecturers do we want in Nigeria? But there is something he did, because when those kind of a thing happen, that person that studied Igbo wants to work in a company, wants to work with the government. How many people will the government employ? Tinubu's administration has dropped down all the technical schools in Nigeria where you go to learn handwork is free. Free now.
Really? So you mean that college of what's it called? I have one
Free
in my school called
tuition. Free. It's
Technical
not even
School,
loan.
Federal Technical University. That federal
Yes.
is not
Free.
free.
When I say go and check, tell you people have a principle that said, how do you people used to say it in 2023?
Go and verify.
Thank you, my brother. When I finish, go and verify. It has all the technical school now is free. Free tuition. That's what I know about. I don't know whether they give them stipend, but it's free. All you need to do in technical colleges in Nigeria is apply and you'll be admitted. Go to school, learn handwork. Well, what he did it in a broader scale. As I said before, and I've been saying, Babangida did it in a small scale, which he called MAMSA. But Tinubu has made it in a big scale, in a school, instead of going through all those workshops and hairdressers and all those things. He has done it in a big scale. So that not only that you will learn how to work, at least you learn how to speak English and write. So it's free now. Ask me again.
Okay, quickly touch on the farming sector. Is there any improvement in our farming? I know I talk about food, but the farming, as in mechanized farming, supporting the
Yeah,
farmers.
there is. It's unfortunate that most Nigerians, I would not say most, so that somebody will not be somewhere having hard feelings about what I'm saying. It's unfortunate that we as Nigerians don't know how much Nigerian has moved in agriculture. They're doing very well in agriculture, but the supply is too, we are running low on supply because of insecurity.
Sorry, madam. Can't they deal with that insecurity? Can't
Okay,
they at least for once
let me
put
tell
something on
you,
ground?
the strongest military in the world is United States military. Like them, hate them, it doesn't really matter. But they have never been able to deal with suicide bombers. They don't have technology for it. Most times, by the time the person get to their technology for detection, the thing will explode. Let alone in Nigeria that we have open markets. We don't have stores. So insecurity is a very big challenge for a third world country.
Madam, I've been listening for 15 minutes. Can I observe something?
Yeah,
Three,
sure.
three things I want to observe. Well, not against you or against Tinubu, but there was one thing that got me off balance, and that was when you said Buhari did not destroy Nigeria. I want to say that my my
You
my
holding on first. Hold on a second.
Madam, let me finish this observation. You have not known what I
Okay.
want to say. My understanding and appreciation of your submission is just I don't understand how it went with that statement that Buhari did not destroy Nigeria. First and foremost, Buhari did not meet Nigeria in a mess. Buhari met Nigeria in a functioning arrangement and he destroyed it. I'm an APC man, I'm saying it without any form of doubt. He destroyed the fabric of the society. Everything we know as Nigeria, Buhari killed it. Secondly, you talked about US being the strongest army in the world, but still have not been able to defeat terrorism. That is a misconception.
Terrorism. That's why I wanted to come in. I didn't say
Hold on.
terrorism. I
Hold
said
on.
suicide bombing.
Yes, both of them is terrorism. But that is a misconception because there is no suicide bomber in the US. Don't judge US by what is happening in Afghanistan. Don't judge them by what is happening in Gaza. There is no suicide bomber in US. Any suicide bombing that takes place in the US will be severely dealt with. Any militancy that rises up within the borders of the United States will be severely dealt with. They will not take their army, seize their weapons, hijack their barracks for no reason. So that is not that analysis for how to deal with terrorism is a no-no for me. So when you do it outside the borders of your country, it's a different thing from when you protect the borders of your country. So I think we should slow down on this our rhetoric. We support Tinubu, but people are suffering. And all the analysis you have given, I've not seen the key performance index on all these things, from the farming to the security to the vocational schools and I know about the vocational schools, but I still know about the loans. What if they give us a breakdown of yearly loans that have taken place? How did it go about in Nigeria? Yeah, even when we were young, I know you are older than us, you saw it. You both benefited from scholarship from federal government. Almost everybody was going abroad of scholarship. Now to even give us loan in Nigeria is rocket science. So then when you talk about gas increase in Nigeria is tremendous. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason for gas increase outside the country. It's either based on carbon tax or something, green energy. There's always a reason for it. Nigeria gas went from 200 to 1,000. What is the reason? Floating the dollar. What is that? That's not a way to discuss economy now. So what is then you talk about supply of agriculture and demand. Where is the supply? How many farms? Where are the grazing fields or whatever they call it, the farm gates? Where are they? Where is the silos that want to store the food that is run by federal government? Please, let's leave Nigeria. Tinubu is our president. We like him. but let's not play on our intelligence of what Nigeria is doing. Nigeria. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Are you
madam.
done?
Yeah, yes, please
Okay.
respond.
Okay. First of all, I said, and when I speak, I like people to listen to me carefully. I wanted to come in the first time. You said no, I should not. Because I like when somebody says something, I respond immediately so that I don't forget. I'm a very busy person. As I'm talking, I'm doing another thing. But let me talk about the terrorism. I didn't say terrorism, but what I said is suicide bombers. And you said that nobody can try it in the United States. If they try it, they will be dealt severely. You know, I love the way Nigerians speak about the country called Nigeria. If Tinubu go, another president will come and you people will still speak the same way. I will come to Buhari, that he didn't meet a mess. I will come to that. But let me finish with the terrorism. United States of America has the worst suicide bombers in the history of mankind. If I can remember in my age, which they have memorial for it today. They call it 9/11. It happened in their land, right in front of their koro. 3,000 people died instantly and still counting. I remember a country called CNA. They lost 1,000 staff and still counting because some people are still dying of the cancer and everything from it. That is, by the way. Now let me talk about United States in underdeveloped countries where they have their military bases, which is more like Nigeria, underdeveloped places. Go and check your record. United States of America has suffered a lot of suicide bombers that left their soldiers dead, amputated, crippled, maimed because of suicide bombing. So I do not understand what you are talking about. But when I speak with facts. Now let's go back to Buhari. I was expecting you to bring one thing that Tinubu is not doing well so that we can criticize him and give a proposal or give our own ideas or how we can do it better. But let me finish.
Madam, I support you. Buhari destroyed Nigeria.
I don't care whether you support anybody or you don't support it. I don't give a damn who you support or who you don't support. I don't really care.
Destroy Nigeria.
I don't care who you
Madam,
support.
ran to Nigeria. We didn't see a plane.
I don't care who you support.
Talk about this.
Me, I am not supporting anybody.
Please wait.
But
Let
I'm
her
here
give
to
a submission.
See, I am not supporting anybody. Are you hearing me? I am not supporting anybody. Because if soldier come, soldier go, soldier come. I don't support politicians. But the only thing I will do is that anything they do good, I will say it. If they do bad, I will still say it. I had issue with that student loan too. Because I wanted them to establish financial aid offices in every university in Nigeria. They've not done that. So that a student will graduate because he applied for student loan. The company will still wire that money to the school. That shouldn't be happening. That's fraud. So I still have little issue about the student loan because I monitor everything. Now let's go back to Buhari. Am I still talking? Tony, am I still there?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, you are here. Go ahead.
So let's go back to Buhari. Buhari did not meet a mess. And he spent how many? How many ammunition did the United States give to him to fight Boko Haram when he became president? He didn't make a mess. So he met a functional society. The ones they gave him as aid to enable him fight insecurity that he met in the Northeast, and the one he paid from taxpayers' money of Nigerians to enable him quench the insecurity that started very little. What the drunkard Jonathan did, he said he denied any of that thing happening. He denied that it was a lie. It has to take screaming, even Barack Hussein, wives Obama, to bring back our girls. And Nigerians started telling them that, so you have more intelligence than America for you to say that nothing like that happened. He did not. Now let's say it. How much was Nigerian crude oil when Jonathan was in government? How much did Buhari make? What did Jonathan do with that money? That boom that Nigeria had in his administration, just as his name sounds, good luck, Jonathan. He had good luck. And in his administration, there was a boom.
Oh, madam, are you not saying that the mess started from Jonathan, not from Buhari?
What? What started from Jonathan?
The mess, the country mess,
Of course.
the
Of course. Of course. It started with Jonathan. It started with Jonathan.
Okay, can I observe, Mr. Tony? Is it only Mama that is going to speak throughout, or
no,
we're
no, no,
having
not
a
only
general
no,
quick?
hold on, please, no,
They can
not only
speak,
Ola.
There must be a
but if they
reporter
want
in
me
all
to
these
respond to
meetings.
what I have said, I
Yes,
will.
Tupu,
But
before
if
you
they want to
respond,
speak, they can speak.
yes, I
But
can speak. Before you respond,
if they're
madam,
pushing on me at what I said, I have opportunity to respond. But if they want to put on their own submission, that's fine. But
oh,
even
fine,
if they
madam.
let me finish. Even if they push at me on what I said, and they don't want me to respond, that's still fine. I won't respond, okay?
No, I'll give you first. I'll give everybody a fair ground to respond. But I want to quickly rush to Ogbeni. But please, Tupu, hold on. Oga Ogbeni, are you there?
Yes, so my Oga, it's been a while. Oh.
Yes, Oga, we greet you. I'm happy you came today. But
Sister, everybody, I greet you.
yes,
There's young, and I think
yes,
I'm not
Is
sure.
it our own Obeni?
It's me.
yes, I
Oh.
want Ogbeni. Yes,
Hey, Obesco, where you did, huh? You
I
don't even
think
come Tromso for the Polar night again.
I've
What's
been
up?
very busy recently. I've been very
Okay,
busy.
now, welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, what piece is no longer there? Okay, maybe it dropped off. Okay, hey, madam, I've listened to you. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Wow.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I've listened to Madam Sita. I think I agree with her in some areas, and in some areas I don't really agree with her. And well, and that is how life is anyway. So somebody mentioned that US is very secured. If something happened, they deal with the person decisively. Yeah, it is true that if anything happened, they deal with them decisively, but it doesn't make US that secure the way Nigerians like throwing it like US is secure. As of 2020, or was it 2021, there was still bomb blast in US. The Nashville Christmas bomb explosion. It was in US now, just few years down the line. That's about three years ago. So, and when you look at the security level of US now, I think they play some areas in US, some major cities in US, and they are on a substantial level in terms of insecurity. It means that a major security breach can happen anytime. The difference between them and developing countries more really is the response and the kind of intelligence they gather. A lot of possibly bomb blasts would have happened in the US, but people like us will not know. But in their security industry, they know how they cover these things. They gather intelligence, they relate with people on ground, the people in the streets. They have their people everywhere to gather intelligence, and they try to, curb it on time. But that doesn't mean that there are no Islamists. There are so many Islamists in the US who are ready to bomb, and there are so many of them who are strategizing as we speak. So, but they are working more on it, unlike in our space. Now, what's the problem? I think in our space, I'm a kind of person who I grew up in the southwest, but I went to the north very early years of my practice while practicing, and I married somebody from the north, a Fulani woman. So I could relate with you. I could tell you what exactly I think is the problem in the north, because I frequent the northern part of Nigeria a lot. So when you think of insecurity you find in the northern part of Nigeria generally, it gains this kind of legitimacy among the people. That's why for me I see it as a guerrilla war. That's why sometimes when people come out and say, "So what will you do if you become a president? What will you do to solve this security?" and people suggesting different kind of things, that I just laugh. We're not fighting a conventional war. It is a guerrilla warfare. It's just like the war Israel is fighting in Gaza. It's a guerrilla war. You're not fighting people who has faces. You're fighting people who are faceless and people who will not obey any conventional law of war for you to fight. And the worst thing is that you're fighting a war that has legitimacy of the people. Let me share an experience I had with you. Many years ago, while I was serving in Nigeria, while I was doing my NYSC days, that was under Yaradua. Late time of Obasanjo was about going, and Yaradua was stepping in. That was around the time I did my NYSC. Something happened. I served in Yobe, in School, and then I was part of Nigerian Christian Corpus Fellowship. So we used to go to Maiduguri to do outreach and all those things. So there was a time we went to University of Maiduguri, and it happened to be the last day of this man who came somewhere from Gombe, somewhere from Boshi, to come and preach. More like all the Islamic cleric came to preach to them. And they were the one championing Boko Haram back then. And it was their last day. So we were entering when it was their own last day, they were partying. And I was surprised to see people burning their certificates. A large number, just like you having people like Riyad Bonke or all those guys having crusade. It was like a major crusade. And people were crying, they were wailing because the guy brainwashed them to the extent to make them to steer Western education as haram. Western education is so anti anything human and anti-godly. So even if you have certificates, you are a graduate, just go and bring it and come and be burning it. So they made a bonfire. And people were coming from different parts of Maiduguri. They were there burning their certificates and everything. So what am I saying? This is the kind of thing that we see in Nigeria. So the dynamics of Nigeria, the war our military is fighting in terms of Boko Haram, is not what you find elsewhere. Because they gain legitimacy from people support it, people hide them. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have cousins. People believe that is what the religion dictates that they must do. The infidels must go. The people who are supporting the infidels must go. The government of the day that is promoting Western education must go, and they must topple the government. That is so. It's not a conventional war. That's why I'm just trying to bring out in that aspect. But if you want me to speak on what exactly is the topic of the day, let's say achievement of Tinubu, maybe I can speak on that.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, yeah, you can speak on that Tinubu economy a little bit before I go to Aizo and I come back to Tukpo, because Tukpo is waiting. Please, I want you to give me hear from your own perspective, please.
Okay, so on Tinubu, like in all platforms where I've appeared, I always tell them I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert when it comes to economics. I'm a kind of person that I love allowing experts to analyze things. I've come to realize that we have come to a world these days now where people analyze issues in the areas where they don't have expertise. And when you have experts coming to tell them this is the way how, they will tell you no, they know even more than experts. That's the kind of world we find ourselves. And like I always say, we have to tolerate it, we have to manage it. It's the way to go now. So you're engaging people who are not well versed in an area. The best you can do is just to express your surface level, surface knowledge, and then get go. Now, what's my take on Tinubu's economy or Tinubu's performance so far? I supported Tinubu. I flew to Nigeria to go and vote for Tinubu. There are some expectations. Part of my expectations Tinubu have met so far. There are some of the expectations Tinubu have yet to meet, and I'm still expecting it to meet. There are some of the expectations I don't see Tinubu meeting in 4 years' time now, which in those areas I've counted him as failure in terms of those areas. And I will still go more specific if you want me to go. Now, let me start with the area where I have expectation and I see Tinubu excelling in those areas. The first is tax reform. I think as at yesterday now, if I'm not mistaken, they passed those 4 major principal tax laws and they are pushing it to the president's office for assent. Let me tell you, it's a landmark achievement. No matter how opposition will downplay it. And me, I don't begrudge opposition. That's one thing about me. Why? Because I live in a country where opposition is very buoyant and vibrant. And I know that they have a role they play also in the democracy and society. Although we have so many idiots who pretend to be opposition in Nigeria. But at the same time, they also have their own nuisance value. Perhaps, if not because of them, maybe Tinubu will not be on his toes and be performing, and the little gains we have been able to make, maybe Tinubu would have relaxed. I know they go idiotic in many cases, but They are performing their duty as opposition. So I give it to them. I give it to them. So that said, tax reform is a major thing that even Obasanjo couldn't even achieve in Nigeria. I don't know how much Nigeria like going to the memory lane. If you go back to go and do research on this tax reform, you see, this tax reform that Tinubu just pushing now, they've been murmuring this since military days. And the northern oligarch would not allow it. If anybody understand tax here, the history of tax in Nigeria, can just go back, just do a little research on what we have achieved with this tax reform. Now, I expect opposition to downplay it, but I expect Nigerians who are objective enough and discerning enough to be able to look deeper and beyond the surface level, look deeper and think about what exactly do you think. You don't need to pick, because we now live in a society where people just go to Twitter and X and Instagram and others. They just pick one line statement and they just take it to client and sinker. Where there is bulky document for them to read, they don't read. Where there are audio for them to listen to, they don't listen to. When they have friends who are experts, they don't call their friends to get expert knowledge so that they can get informed. But they just believe in one or two lines that they are reading on Twitter. For me, I don't think it's the right way to go. So that tax reform for me may not start having effect immediately, but it is a big thing, particularly for governors and states who are ready to work. I'm looking so closely at Lagos State, and I'm looking also so closely at Abia State. Although I know people exaggerate Abia's performance, but in one or two things that I've seen about Abia, the man is trying. Maybe because it happens to be someone who everybody put eyes on, so he has to perform by all means. So he has no choice than to try his best. That's the kind of thing we need in Nigeria. Let everybody face their governors. The ones that you know is not performing, put them on their toes. Not everything Tinubu is dead, Tinubu is bad, Tinubu is no. Well, for how long will it take us? I was in Abuja to Jonathan, the same way we castigated Jonathan. He has done his own as back now. We paint him as a saint. I was there during Buhari, we castigated Buhari. The guy has passed now. Tinubu also will pass. So let's face the life and the project Nigeria. That's one, tax reform. I give kudos to Tinubu. Local government autonomy. I've heard some opposition saying, what have they gotten after the judgment? What have they gotten? I just laughed. Do people really go to history and check? Let me give you an instance. Do you know when they introduced NYSC in 1973? It met a serious resistance from Nigeria, particularly the Southeasterners. When they introduced that NYSC that is working now and everybody is fine, at least an average graduate in Nigeria, if you go to NYSC now, I know people will say it doesn't mean anything, but for me, when I served, that 1 year was, how do I put it, a resting time for my parents. When I served, it was a resting time for my parents. I came from a very humble background, and it was a time that I was able even to give them little thing from the NYSC thing. And how much were we collecting then? I think 9,500 or so, or 7,500. They will collect 250 from the bank. And it was a resting time because we were not going home to collect something. But these days, they pay them 70,000 or so. Although they will tell you the value is now low and everything, it has always been. But somebody introduced that project. When they introduced NYSC as a project in Nigeria, it met a lot of resistance, particularly South, and rightly so. I'm not begrudging the Southeastern brothers, because the post-war sentiment, the security concerns, they have this passive marginalization that it's just another way to marginalize them, and they believe it's going to be a loss of autonomy. You're pumping people from other region that they just finished war with, you're pumping them into their region, and things like that. You're making people to leave their region to another region when you can't still guarantee the security of Nigeria, and blah, 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 blah. Years after, many people will come and praise NYSC. Although the Gen Z now, they will tell you NYSC is nothing. Showore the other time said they should scrap NYSC. I don't understand the world where he lives in. But for me, NYSC has achieved a lot. I met my own wife during NYSC. She's a Fulani man. Today I'm doing very peacefully. And I know many people like that we've been able to, in terms one way or the other, find something during NYSC that they can still refer to today and say, if not for NYSC, they wouldn't have. I know many of my friends, including myself, that we wouldn't have probably crossed outside our own state in Nigeria, if not for NYSC. NYSC exposed us to Project Nigeria. And we can boldly today, if you give us a political office, we can boldly occupy any political office and tell you, see, mention any state in the north, we know it. East, we know it. Southwest, we know it. If not for NYSC, many of us would have just been local champion. No preparation for leadership position in the country that we belong to. So it meant resistance, but they pushed further and they achieved something. That's the way I see the local government autonomy. I live in a country where local government works, and I've listened to Sowore talking about this too. That's an aspect I agree with Sowore. Local government autonomy is key. We need to still keep on pushing on that local government autonomy. If we are able, you could imagine yourself having 776 local government having their own radio stations in Nigeria, local radio stations, and they are propagating their projects on their local radio stations. And you can call your local government on the program, you're doing program on, and even insecurity should be able to be brought down to a barest minimum with local government functioning in Nigeria. That's another area I've seen Tinubu performing. We may not see the fruits now, but that seed has been sown, which took many years. Don't forget, Buhari, as hard as Buhari was, he tried this through many executive orders. He couldn't achieve it. But somebody came with the wisdom of saying, look, let's go to the judiciary and achieve it through the judiciary, because we can't get it to the National Assembly and we can't get it to executive fiat. That's another thing. Now, thirdly, I won't waste your time. Let me just touch on education. Education is another area I've marked my expectation for Tinubu government, and I've seen some gains there. Yes, I've had many friends that we both supported Tinubu. Some of them have expressed, rightly so, there are issues with the education thing. But what is the gain for me? Technical education. Why did I say so? If you can reverse back to what I used to say during the election time, the reason why my mind supported Concourse to a very large extent, and back then I was praying that Concourse should probably find a way into Tinubu's government, and they should make that Concourse Minister of Education. I advocated it then. If Tinubu can, in fact, early years of Tinubu when he first got there in that 2023, and they said he started settling with Concourse, I felt like, if Concourse can just accept Minister of Education, it will go well with that, with the education sector in Nigeria. I'm telling you, what did he do in Kano? I have a lot of friends from Kano. Concourse moved away from university education into technical education and vocational studies. Do you know how many people that man produced? He gave them scholarship, free. Aviation, that guy produced so many, pilots. Send them to special schools, pilot school, technical college, agriculturalist, shipping. He sent some people to somewhere in India, and he will not even sponsor them to the Western world, or he will send them to Asia. You see them in Philippines, you see them in Malaysia, Singapore, India. Those are the areas he will give you scholarship to go to. They learn, they sign a bond, and they will bring them back home, and then he will look for job for them. There are so many in Lagos now. You see them, all those ferry. You see all those small ferry in Lagos. You see them flying around that. There are so many of Concourse products. When there was a time he was doing one gathering like that, and they now gather the benefactors, the people who have benefited from Concourse vocational studies and all those scholarships. Man, that guy is an achiever in that respect. As far as I'm concerned, is the miniature of what Concourse did that Tinubu is trying to achieve in the technical college area. And I think it's something one should give kudos to him. Yes, he's doing his duty, so we don't need to praise him. But we need to acknowledge the gains that we have made. Nobody is saying we should pay. In the Western world where I live in, nobody praise government for anything. But if they say we have done this, we don't castigate it here. If it is true, people acknowledge it and say, yes, Boris Johnson did this. Yes, Theresa May did this. And at the same time, we'll say, this is what they failed to do. But in Nigeria, our problem is opposition just want to castigate by all means. You don't even acknowledge any gains. And then you misinform the society. Another problem I see is our media again. Media, you want to select somebody to come and talk on a particular area, and you bring somebody who has no knowledge at all in that area. How can you be bringing Tanko to come and talk about economy? Who is Tanko? What's his field? And then their nomenclature keeps changing. Today, they will tag them as political analysts. Tomorrow, they will call them something social affairs. Tomorrow, they will call them, what's all this? That's what we keep facing in Nigeria. So education, technical education, and what has he done? Mother Sita was saying it the other time, which is true, and what piece? If you go and look at it, free education for technical college, but some people are saying it should extend it also to state technical colleges. I agree. But let's start from somewhere, okay? Before you start extending. Now, he has done that. Free education, technical colleges. Some of my cousins and nephews have encouraged them. Not everybody must go to the uni. If you know that is where you're going, go there first. Go and learn. It's free. Relieve your parents. Go there. If you learn, if you feel you want to learn more, then you go to the university. In fact, most of those ones that come from technical college and university, they perform better. Because I remember so many of them that came from poly to enter uni back then, they perform better. So he has given them free tuition. He's giving them free accommodation and feeding. From some quarters, he's giving them monthly stipend. They said maybe 22,005 or something like that, monthly stipend. And then they will be acquiring and they will be doing industrial training. Before, no industrial training. So now they will do industrial training support and then skill certification. That is something we may think, oh, it's nothing. Some people will think it's cosmetic project. I don't think so, because I've seen Concursor's own working. So I want him to extend it beyond that technical college. Aviation training in Nigeria is too humongous to train one pilot. You can subsidize for those people too. Children that have the brain to fly aeroplane and others, let's subsidize, let's train them, and then when we finish training them, so that we can create market for West Africa. We have brains in Nigeria. I don't see any reason why our product should not be the one dominating West Africa, at least our region. We should be the one dominating our region. Produce people to go to our region. There's nothing stopping people flying helicopter and everything around West Africa to be Nigerians and trained Nigerians. That will help our economy too. So I want him to extend. School of Agriculture should also be free. That's not the technical. Then all those tech and all those schools, let them be free. In the Western world where I stay here, university education is the only place where they give loan for their own locals. The rest is free. So, but if you now want to go to university, at far as I'm concerned, it's lottery. So you get loan and you will repay it. Now, lastly, loan. That loan that has done. I know Madam Sita has expressed it before. Oh, she has problem with one. Yeah, many people have problem. But when you look at all those problems that people express, there are problems that come with administration, not the project itself. So the project itself is there. There is a law backing it. It has come to stay. Nobody can scrap it. It's a good thing for us. So what do we need to work on? We need to work on, when Obasanjo started NECO, I remember there were resistance now, particularly from the southern part of Nigeria. They believe that it's going to destroy educational level in Nigeria. Whether it has destroyed it or not, I know that's debatable for another day, which I believe it has destroyed anyway. But today, NECO is there, has come to stay. Some people have gained employment in NECO, some people have earned their living in NECO, and some today, it was because of NECO they could have a university education in Nigeria. So the same way I see this loan, we may think this loan is very small, but for those who are beneficiary already, it goes a long way for them. And that's a gain we're making. We didn't make that 2 years ago, but now we're making that gain. I think we should acknowledge that. Lastly, the area where I expect him in that education, which Tinubu has failed me for now, is the primary education. Primary education is key. If you go back to the Obafemi Awolowo strategy, Obafemi Awolowo faced two things, two areas: primary education and teachers training colleges. That was what Awolowo faced. Primary education, teacher training colleges. He opened, as he was opening primary education, he was opening teacher training colleges. And his strategy was that, look, if you can get it right from this foundation, forget the rest. Agitate, spare their interest. Let's spur their interest. Once they have interest and they have sand, and that is why today, if you see all those baba that got their primary education during our old time, you see some of them will tell you standard 5 or form 6 they were able to do. But when they write letter, you can see an average graduate of this day cannot even beat the kind of grammar they speak. That is the kind of education they gave them back then, because they had good teachers from teacher training colleges who can be proud of what they do, and the dignity of labor. They can be proud to say, I'm a teacher. And then primary education. So, but they are here to do anything. They are leaving it only to state governors. And as far as I'm concerned, the state governors are failures. They won't do anything about primary education if Tinubu is not going to take over. I think I've taken my time. Where are the areas the man has failed? I'll just list them. I won't go too deep into it. The first area for me is healthcare. I don't see anything they are doing in that respect. It would be so foolhardy of me to say I will overlook healthcare, because two major reasons why people run away from Nigeria, which I've been able to pick now from many people when they speak, few ones that I've seen. I teach in a university, so I meet Nigerians every day coming to school in the UK. And many of them, two things they always identify. The reasonable ones who are very objective, not those ones that will land in Nitro and then they will say Nigeria is now hellfire, bastard Nigeria. Those ones who are objective. They will tell you first, insecurity. Second, healthcare. They tell you, look, if you do those two things, some will tell you, I will conveniently return to Nigeria. Let me have malaria and enter hospital, and I know I'm in the hands of a doctor who I can rely on. Let me be able to travel Lagos to Abuja at night without fear of being killed in the way. If those two things are there, if you like, let your flight be 500,000 naira. I will take my road, I will take my train, and everybody will go. So for me, they are trying in terms of transportation and all those things, but healthcare matters a lot. Healthy society starts from healthy people. So the one that Mr. President will be traveling to France for medical tourism, but we'll call it I'm going to rest and all those things. Get good tertiary health facility in at least one per geopolitical zones in Nigeria, where they can refer people to, and then this thing is going to bring market for people in West Africa. I don't know why we don't look at that West Africa. When I was in uni, I finished from University of Ife. When I was in uni, we used to have people from Sudan, Niger, the cream de la cream in Ghana and others. They used to school, we were together in our class. Many of them, Ghana, Cameroon, all those guys, Sudan and others. And they were paying, back then they were paying the same thing that we were paying. I used to say back then that why will you be paying the same thing that I'm paying? You should be paying as international. They will tell you ECOWAS and all those nonsense things back then. So we should be able to be raking our market instead of reliance on the Western world. Our market should be within Africa first. And I believe that will push us so to a very great extent, because we'll have the bargaining strength to deal with the African brothers who are not even as big as we are, or they see us as giants. They'll be so happy to deal with us. And I will leave it there. Wapis, thank you for the opportunity
Okay,
given to me to
thank you,
speak.
thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
please wait around. I want eyes on make it talk because when I said don't give your own view, my brother Tukbo don't push back saying no agree. But that's why they keep on to the last minute, can't give you submission. Thank you for this one. You talk so many places, but Izon, you did there, I beg. Izon,
I did.
I beg. I want me you come in, me you tell me the area where you agree and where you disagree. In the area we disagree, start first with that part. Can I get balance, balance flow? Man, not to moderate and make we see,
No,
make the people hear and
yeah, yeah. So the thing with listening to Benny talk, a lot of it, it makes sense. A lot of it makes sense, but a lot of these things, be the how will I explain this? It is not the overall picture that you disagree with. You understand? But it's certain elements, certain conclusions that are made from that overall picture that you deviate from. I'll give you an example. So in talks say healthcare, right? He doesn't give Tinubu good marks for healthcare, and he gives some ideas about having a health facility in every geopolitical region. That's a good idea. I agree with that, right? Um, Healthcare and education are two of the key drivers for alleviating poverty and getting developing nations out of the situation they're in into um, developed nation status. And in fact, top economists like the likes of Jeffrey Sachs and different types of economists around the world have stated for decades now that that's the majority of the investment should be in developing nations. As Ogbeni mentioned, healthcare is lacking, right, in Nigeria. In all these regions, we don't get proper healthcare. Most Nigerians, I agree, want to move home if there's proper healthcare. In fact, a lot of people, as they get older, that's one of the things they're afraid of. That if I go, this happen. What? But the thing is, with the issue with Asiwaju is for someone to want to institute that level of healthcare and the level of education that Ogbeni also mentioned, and he used Awo as an example with the teacher training colleges and, you know, primary school education mandatory. The difference is Awolowo cared. Awolowo inherently had a vision. He cared. He fought for it his whole life. It's unfortunate he didn't become
Sorry,
president.
are you not saying that Tinubu is not showing care at all? Or he doesn't
Oh,
care?
my brother, Tinubu doesn't give a shit. Excuse my language.
Okay.
That is his number one flaw. He does not care. If you look at the guys, especially the guys that were in that hours class, that and the programs they had, what they built, the amount of people they educated, those people were looking at a different level of Nigeria. They had a vision. They were fighting for every day, and they weren't going to compromise on that. They didn't. They didn't put politics over that. Awo did not have to create the educational structures he did in the Southwest at all. Why? But politically, if you think about it, right, there wasn't any issue, but he did it, funded it with cocoa money, did all these things. I mean, if you look at what the man did, it was amazing. But if you look at that today, let's fast forward to today and look at the caliber of characters that we have, right, in government today, whether it's the speaker or it's Akpabio or it's Tinubu, the president. And that's his biggest handicap. Everything Ogbeni said, I agree with. But the issue, the fundamental issue is the political will must be there to do this. And that will does not exist because the person at the helm does not care. And let me give you another example. Most people might say, oh, I'm making this up because I don't support him. Okay. It doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, if the man does something that's commendable, I will praise him. And I'll get to things I'll praise him about in a second. But let's use the massacre that happened a month ago in Plateau and Benue, right? Just as a simple example,
You're
you
talking
hear
about
all
the
kinds of it.
insecurity now. You are talking about the insecurity in Nigeria, or are you talking about
No, no, no.
insecurity in just
I'm using the incident in Plateau and Benue that happened recently, barely a month ago,
okay?
and how
What
Tinubu
wait,
did not visit.
would that be justifiable to use just a certain region to
It's
to
a perfect. No, no, no. What I'm doing, let me land the plane. What I'm doing is a perfect example to show how he does not care.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a president that cares will not have over 150 of his citizens murdered in under a 2 week span and not even show up there. Fair enough, he was out of the country for whatever reason. He came back into the country, did not go. He was sending all his appointees to go there. Over, in 2 weeks, women, children, and I really fault the Nigerian media because those victims are nameless and faceless. We don't know who they are. We don't know which ethnicity they belong to because they don't report on it. Because if they do report on it, the regulatory body in Nigeria for media will come down on them. So they dare not report it. If you notice how they covered it, but they didn't go in detail to show images, the victims. In those two states, we've had IDPs for how long now? We're not at war. We have internally displaced people living in squalor. Again, how many videos have we seen of the coverage of those people? These are our fellow citizens, right? And everyone tries to act like they don't exist, especially the person at the executive office. So I use that to show as an example that in the most dire consequences or dire situations, sorry, if the person as an executive does not show that level of care or empathy, then what makes you think he's going to care about the out of school children or the lack of proper primary education or the lack of proper primary health care? He's not going to. So he can do everything that Ogbeni stated, which are good ideas. But the issue is that will has to be there. And that is where, in fact, in my criticism of him, that is one of the number one things. I'll give you another example, right? There's an article that came out it was an interesting article that came out. It was written by the Council of Foreign Relations. This was not too long after Tinubu was elected. And the name of the article is called A Troubling Picture. You can go and look it up if you get a chance. It was an interesting article to read because they really broke down what he did when he came in, which kind of set the tone. The Supplementary Appropriation Act 2.17 trillion that he passed barely weeks after he took out subsidy, right? By doing that, he then turned around, presidential air fleet, presidential yacht, bulletproof cars, president and his wife, renovation of residences for him and his vice president, right? The $38 million initially that he set aside for the presidential fleet was more than the amount that they set aside initially for the student loan program. Until there was noise that came out, public outcry, then they increased the student loan program by a little bit. Does that sound like someone that cares? You know, it is those sort of things when you look at how your people are living and you look at where you're spending money. Let's cancel all those expenses just for a second. And let's say, okay, we took a page out of the president of Argentina's book for how we cut the size and spending of government and applied it in this situation. That healthcare idea for every geopolitical zone would have been implemented easily. Easily. And that would almost certainly guarantee him a level of credibility amongst the Nigerian people. Usually, when people come into a situation, a situation of power or a situation of a position, they look for quick wins while they plan out the long-term strategic goals that they want to achieve. The quick wins is you need to get people on your side quickly because those people need to get behind you so you can then promise something long-term and they will believe.
Yeah. Are you there?
Hello, sorry. I did a person
Mm.
call me as well. But
Okay.
in this case, he came in. I understand the macroeconomic need of taking away subsidy. I get it, right? But the implementation and how it was done and what he put in place and how he did all that stuff was very poor. Was very poor. And I'm not sure why he implemented it. Like, did he overestimate his power that, okay, I will do this and yeah, people are going to suffer, but it's necessary pain and we'll move forward. And yes, it was a brave move because he made a lot of assumptions. And in 2027, we'll see whether or not it paid off, whether or not he can really keep his seat. Most people think he can because they believe he will rig the system, but we'll see. We'll see how he plays out. But my issue with
Mm.
him has been that now, in to give you things that I think he has done well, the payment of the IMF loan. Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. Not, I won't go into the reasons why I think he did it, but yes, there's credit there. Um, I'm not going to talk about student loan. I don't support the student loan. I don't think people in poverty should be put into debt. The what do you call it? The roads that are being constructed in different parts. Yes, there are some criticisms there as well, but I'll just ignore the criticism and say there's some work you can point to that's being displayed, right? The
Yeah.
overall, the overall political bravery he has shown and not pandering to certain cabals that have always felt they're entitled to the Nigerian politics, moving the central bank to Lagos, doing some of those things. I think those were brave moves, and I think it was necessary to kind of shake up the system a little so people don't follow him. So I give him credit for that too. But that's why I stopped. I stopped there,
Okay.
hard stop,
Okay.
because I feel that there's a lot more
Okay.
that this man could have done. And again, I don't know what his health is or if he's really, but the traveling to France or back and forth over and over again.
Mm.
We don't need
Okay.
a president that's going to be absentee. That
Yeah.
doesn't help our country, my brother. You
Okay.
understand? So
Well,
I believe I'm
Aiza,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Make I ask Tupo. Tupo, are you there, please? Mr. Tupo, I know say you don't miss since. Tupo, are you there?
Yeah, yeah. I did listen.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience. Now I'll give you the floor. I beg, make you pour your heart out. Make you, this is your time now. Make you talk to us now because you differ with Mother Zita, Mother AI. I believe so. You still get some other areas where you differ with our great lawyer, Ogbeni, and probably get some area where you support his own. But this is not your flaw. Tell us how you see the Tinubu government, how they do us. Go ahead, my brother.
All right. Tinubu's administration. Well, the Tinubu's administration, the way it came in with so much drama, because many people didn't believe in Tinubu. The election, what happened, and Nigerians, like what they say, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Nigerians were actually shouting, but eventually he won. People like us supported him because we knew he understood, democratic principles. Maybe he haven't served as a governor and also, you know, former senator and also an activist. So there was a whole lot that we supported him and expected from him. But like the last speaker said, I like what he said. He was very genuine. Yeah, and I know he supports Tinubu, but he was genuine because he made points of things that Tinubu had outlined. Things were they were really putting things in place. But all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. So, but I don't want to toe his own statement directly to say he doesn't care. But I really don't know what happened. Maybe the people around him. The problem with Nigerian leaders or African leaders surround themselves with people who just come and say, "Oh, guy, everybody do okay," and before you know it, everything is down the drain. Then, if I go to Ogbeni started with a statement like people who are not in this field don't understand these things. As a citizen, you don't need to be in any field to know whether you are suffering. You don't need to be in any field to know whether your government is putting in place the basic infrastructures that are guaranteed by the United Nations Charter, which is the security and welfare of the people. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to wake up, seek employment, get it, work, get paid, go to store, shop. That is your duty as a citizen, as long as you pay your tax. So trying to now have to go and become a banker in order to know whether Tinubu's banking policies are working, I don't understand. So that's where I was really wondering who he was saying that to, or what he was trying to achieve with that statement. When he tried to break down all these statements about what he did in the tax reform, this one, that one, maybe you see, one thing, experience is the best teacher, because when you talk about tax, I've started paying my tax and never missed a year in Nigeria since 2006 up to this day. Even as I'm speaking to you, so I just finished my auditor report in order to get my tax clearance. Prior to Jonathan, the tax was something else. When Jonathan came in, he reformed the tax process properly. So, however, the tax bracket that this administration is coming up with now, I don't think it will be more. It will be better than when your tax system is operated, is automated, which was done by Jonathan. So maybe people will just say things they have not done this, gone through the process of. I live outside Nigeria, but I still function properly in Nigeria. So I understand what is actually going on in Nigeria. Tinubu had a proper policy, like Ogbeni said, local government, which I don't know who is fighting it. That is where Nigeria, that is all I supported Tinubu for. Local government autonomy, beginning to the end, local government autonomy, because that is the only way we can hold our governors and elected officers at local level accountable. Everywhere in this world, no matter the English we are speaking here, Mama spoke her own, Ogbeni is speaking, development starts from the grassroots. You cannot tell Tinubu to give you Gary. No, it's not possible. You understand? The policies of government, of federal government, is majorly international and based and it affects the sub-region based on discussions with the sub-regions. So that's where the problem of Nigeria. Tinubu was actually in place when Tinubu was actually going well when he started that civil service reforms, local government autonomy, all those things that he would do. I don't know what happened, but I don't think those discussions are still anywhere. So, and if they are not anywhere, trust me, Nigeria is, as Fela described, is Joro, Jara, Joro, one step forward, 10 steps backward. It's simple. You can't get it right by not doing the right thing. You cannot get it right when your councillors you don't know your councillors. You can't get it right when you don't know your local government chairman. You can't get it right. It's not possible. Even as the Ogbeni live in UK, they don't. Is it Max Tama that will determine whether they will clear the grass in front of his house? You can't get it right like that. So if we want to talk about Tinubu's policies, I don't know where it will lead if we don't get the foundations right. So that's why my argument will always veer off from what they're talking about education. What education cannot be in the hands of federal government. Even the United Nations know. It's universal basic. It's from grassroots. So what has Tinubu got to do with education? So he say he's not doing well in the education sector. What will he do? What will he do? There's SUBEB, there's everything. What will he do? Nothing. He can't do anything about it. It has to, it has to be dealt with by the local government. You understand? That's where education starts from. So for healthcare, the same thing, primary healthcare, it goes back to the grassroots. So I can't fault Tinubu on all that things. I can only fault Tinubu on the constitutional policies that I was expecting him to take, because for what Buhari did to Nigeria and what we saw with all these Fulani Marudas and everything, I expected a different ball game. It's not whether he's going to develop whether he's going to renovate the presidential villa or do all those things. Those are basic things that will be done. But there are some certain things, there are some steps that must be taken. I know somebody mentioned Awolowo, Awo and the policies. When they were in charge, they were not federal government, they were at regional level. So they did things at that regional level. That's what the Awos now is what we have governors represent. You understand? So maybe in Nigeria, as at that time, it was northeast, eastern region, western region, and all that. But as we begin to break down Nigeria into 9 states, 12 states, and 37 states as we stand now, those people that are governors are the AWOs now. So they are the ones that are supposed to implement these policies, not Tinubu. Tinubu's hands will remain tied because at federal level, like what Mama said, it's 3 arms of government. There are policies that needs to be put in place for Nigeria to work properly. And if Tinubu wants it to be done, Nigeria will know they use money to get what they want. Use money to get it. We already know they use the money to buy whatever they want to buy. So why don't you just use the money to buy the right things, buy the right constitution, lobby the House members to give you the right thing, rather than use the money to do something else. So that is all. That's where we stay. But let me go to Buhari. Buhari destroyed Nigeria. What Jonathan left, even though we agitated against Jonathan because of some wasteful spending, after a while, when everybody sat down, we realized that's why Jonathan is hobnobbing with the president, with all the presidents from Buhari to Tinubu, because they knew he put in place structures, proper structures, infrastructure, digital infrastructures, banking sector, economic sector, agri sector, everything systematically working. When you talk of insecurity, he was already handling it properly with all the propaganda and everything that the Northerners did to destroy Nigeria. He had already found a way to get around it. International community blocked us from even having weapons, all just to remove him because he wanted to do the right thing. So we know these things, and that is the same the path I expected Tinubu to follow. But I know Nigeria psychophancies, people have surrounded him and are telling him that he's doing the right thing, just like what some people are saying here, he's doing the right thing. When we look at Nigeria, and know only 5% of Nigerians are benefiting. Yes, if I live in Nigeria, I will live well, I will succeed. But is that working? I will cut corners to survive. Is that a society? No. In the societies we live in, just by even working as a cab driver, you are able to buy a house, do things. So these are how you talk about a society. Nigeria is not a functioning society. It's not as if we want to go around selling bad things to the society. It's not functioning because the constitution or the laws that runs the country is not right. So I think that if we want to get it right, we should talk about Nigeria, not try to praise politicians here. So let me leave it for that right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Tukbo. Thank you so much. Mother AI, are you still there? Okay, Mother AI, I know you are there, but you are busy. Yeah,
I'm
Mother AI.
here.
Okay, I'll come to you just in a minute. Ojeno, sir, are you there?
I'm here. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening. You've been listening.
Yeah, I've been listening to Flynn.
Okay, did you
And
hear Mother AI's submission? Did you
no,
hear?
no,
Uh,
no,
did you hear Ogbeni's submission?
no. I only listen to Flynn, and I can, but I think every sentence or every word he said is in tandem to my opinion. I agree with everything he said.
So
Spot on.
you're on the notion that Tinubu is not performing well, and Buhari destroyed the nation before handling the nation to Tinubu, and Tinubu policy is not falling in place well.
I agree with that.
You have to understand.
Tinubu,
Hold on. You have to understand that Mother AI differ, and Ogbeni give a balance to support Mother AI and call out some area he is not happy with. That his own actually gave a detailed
Sorry.
explanation.
Hey, Tony.
Madam.
No, I didn't say he's performing fantastically well.
Okay,
Please.
sorry. Maybe I will
That's why
try that.
people don't understand. There are areas he's doing good, and there are areas he's doing terribly bad.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. And Izon gave a detailed explanation about the area he is not happy with and the area he supports the government is trying. Now, can you give me a detailed explanation, not too long, I know you are busy, of the area that you're not happy with? A well detailed one that you feel the government is failing and you need him to improve. Ojeno said.
yeah, the basic dividends of democracy, security, infrastructure, and welfare. Those are the basics. These international policies and all that, those are extras. The basic dividends of democracy for our people are, I would say, these three things: infrastructure, security, and welfare. Welfare entails healthcare, education, and so those are the basics. And in these three things, he is failing. Look at the security. Look at the three security challenges we're having. It's even, I would say, it's in the last 2 years of Buhari, it reduced. Now, but with Tinubu, it has increased. So when people are giving report cards, um, I think we should basically look at how it affects us now, because the when Jonathan was in government, we were complaining, like Flynn just said, we were complaining, but we never knew we had it good with him until after we ousted him out. And now Buhari came. And now we've seen that Jonathan was a semi messiah. And now with with Tinubu. So I would say, like I said, I don't have much to say. I agree with everything Flynn said is right. And I think one of our major problems is our system, the system of governance. We are operating a federal system of government, and our diversity is a hindrance to this system of government. If we can revert back to the regional government, then we can see progress. Because this federal system of government, it encourages corruption because government is centralized and far from the people. I remember those days when we were young. My dad was the secretary to our local government. It was totally
Hear me.
different.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Jonathan.
It was
You
totally
start.
different because then the local government had autonomy. They
Okay,
could make decisions, they could give out contracts, they could do a lot. Now they are handpicked. And it's a detriment to the society. So I think, like I said, what Offlin said, I'm in agreement. I think the best solution, which I think Tinubu might do, I have the belief, I might be wrong. I feel before he leaves in 2031, he will restructure the country.
good. That's a positive one from a positive person. Thank you so much, Mr. Jonathan. Madam AI, are you there? Madam AI, Madam, can you hear me?
I'm muted and I was saying I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Now, do you agree with the gentleman or Jonathan that he's supporting Mr. Tupu and the Tinubu is failing in some key areas in three sectors? But I know you wanted to say something to people that time, and I just begged you to wait. Now, can you just analyze and expatiate and break it down to a common man understanding
My dear,
of what you're talking about?
what I'm saying is that maybe that one, if you can remind me what I was saying, because a lot has taken place since then. What I'm
Because
saying is that
because you were on the notion that what people were saying that the Buhari, because you said it was beyond Buhari, that the country was already destroyed before they handed the country to Buhari, and
even as I speak to you now, Nigeria is not destroyed. So I don't understand what you mean by destroyed.
okay, good,
The
yes,
only thing Buhari did that is actually affecting the economy was that Naira what did I call it?
redesign.
Redesign. That thing, number one, the money he used in doing it, he used a lot of money, and then the way he did it, he collected money from people, refused to give them their equivalent, and then burnt it. And today, we came to realize that it was a yo-yo-yo. These are people who are saying that Buhari is very bad. Buhari did not even know that Elefere, what did you call it? Elefere has 700, and I've never had that kind of a thing before. My mouth can't even say it. But what I'm saying is that Buhari too did his own portion. It wasn't totally bad. In agriculture, he did very well. In fact, he single-handedly made sure that a Nigerian sat there, even when it was not Nigerian storm. You remember when he took the man to South Africa, this Adesina that resigned today, that retired, I think, or his tenure
Mm,
expired, whatever.
yeah.
He took him to this because it was South African storm. Has Nigerians forgotten so easily? He took it to the South African president and said, I want this guy. And the South African president had them whenever the vote, Adesina got it. And he pumped that agricultural sector. Buhari was the one that introduced this local rice. He introduced local rice back into Nigeria. Have we forgotten? This, what do you call, electoral reform? It was Buhari. He was the one that made sure it was passed in the bill. It passed as a bill, sorry. So will I sit down here and start saying what Buhari did not do well and the ones he did not do well? Yes, he was sick for several months. But it wasn't that, will I say, it wasn't that good for him. He wasn't the best. He has his own problems. He has,
Madam AI, are you
okay.
hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Please, when Buhari came in 2015, 2015 or 2015, I can categorically tell you that Nigeria had a middle class. People who could go abroad and come back.
I don't understand what you mean by people who could go abroad and come back.
Middle class. But when he left, can you tell yourself, Mama, that we had a middle class 8 years after?
I want you to explain what you mean.
understand what you work with this international
I
body.
want
You understand
to,
what middle class means.
please, I want
Can
you
you
to,
tell yourself that Nigeria had a middle class?
excuse me, you made mention of middle class.
Yes.
You said your own middle class is that people go abroad and come back,
Yes.
like holidaying
I want
abroad.
to use that because it's easy for you to understand
Hold
when I use
on
that
now.
because it's not even
Calm
feeding.
down.
People who eat rice, do
Can
everything.
we have
We don't have a middle class after 8 years.
how
Buhari.
can we have a healthy conversation?
Madam, please go ahead.
It cannot be healthy when you keep telling me that Buhari.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because Buhari was an insult to Nigerians.
Okay.
It was an insult
Okay.
You see,
to Nigerians.
I don't do my argument on hate or love.
Can you tell me?
But you ask a question. Can I answer you?
Yeah, just add this one to the question. Can you tell me what happened to Nigeria Air for 8 years? Man.
But I have just said things that happened to Nigeria in 8 years of Buhari.
Nigeria Air.
8 years. Tuko, please let her respond. Madam, please respond, please.
Okay.
Because
Even as I speak to you today, Nigerians are still traveling abroad and coming back in large quantity. For those who mentioned that during the time of Jonathan, Nigerians go on scholarship, even up to today, Nigerians still go on scholarship. During the time of Buhari, Nigerians still go on scholarship. The backlog of Nigerians who wants to go on holidays in the overseas, in all the embassies in the world, the backlog was actually during the time of Buhari.
They wanted to jackpot and go abroad is too different. They want to jackpot. They are running.
wait, Tuko, please let her land of submission. Tuko, I beg.
You know this thing. Why is she doing this thing to us?
Tuko, please let her land of submission and then we come in. Madam, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Since it has gotten to, I don't make arguments, making it too broad. When you make a conversation too broad, we run around the whole place without asking anything. Let me say this before I leave you people to continue running around the whole, make everywhere, the condition to be everywhere. Let me say this. No government can be perfect. And no government can be so bad. From the inception of Nigeria till today, we have never had a worse government and we have never had a perfect government. I want to explain to people what is government. Yes, it is a government. It is a seat that somebody has to occupy. But one thing is sure, in as much as somebody wants to occupy that seat, the person's personality and what he or she likes is going to show. You cannot disprove that. Nigeria today, it was Buhari in terms of agriculture. Maybe probably he was a farmer. Maybe probably his people were farmers. His interests were more on those places. All the rice mills established in Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna was Buhari. Buhari reintroduced local rice back to Nigeria. Buhari decided he was the one that shut the borders so that the local market can thrive. How else can a president be interested in his country if he's that worse? He did a lot of things to make sure that our local markets thrive. In as much as the local market refused to thrive, because after producing the rice, they want to put it the same price with the foreign rice. And Nigerians, after subsidizing it for them, I have said this severally in this platform. I remember. Nigerians don't even know what they want, how they want it, and when they want it. We come here to criticize our government. Our government is not, since I was born and since Nigeria gained independence, nobody has ever ruled Nigeria except Nigerians. We are quick to condemn our government, but we are not quick to condemn what we are doing as Nigerians. After Buhari subsidized those farmers, and they will still bring out their product in the market and sell it at a very high rate. He was subsidizing it to make sure that it will compete with the foreign ones, so that Nigerians can afford it and twist their neck to that one. Not only that it will taste nice, they will have opportunity to test it, and then they can be able to afford it. But here we are today, going around the whole place. The government that is worse, the one that is not worse, and the one that is better. There are so many areas they did terribly badly. Would they have done better? Yes. Did they want to do better? I don't know, because I wasn't there. Do they have all it takes to do better? Probably yes, because Nigeria got the money. So what are we talking about? Tomorrow now, another president will come after Tinubu, and then we say Tinubu's government was even better. It's been like that. It's always like that. So for me, if you think and you believe that I will stand and condemn a whole government of a country from head to toe, I will not do that. Hate me, like me, I don't care. Are they doing well? Are they doing as we expected? The answer is obviously no. Are they taking steps? Of course they are taking steps. Are they taking us to the promised land? No way, we are not even getting close. But for me to sit down, condemn not getting close, condemn that they are not doing well, and condemn also the step they have taken, then I don't know who I am. Nobody can cajole me or insult me or bully me or rattle me or propaganda me into having a discussion that way. It will never happen. Tinubu have made strides in some areas. Some areas he has failed woefully. Can he get it better? No God will get no. Will Nigerians give him another opportunity to see whether he will continue moving from one place to the other? I don't know. Till 2027. But for me to come here, write Buhari off, right there, can you imagine somebody comparing Jonathan's presidency? I would have rather let's talk about Obasanjo. At least he did a lot of things for Nigeria. But Jonathan, really? Because Nigeria had a boom and money was everywhere. Yeah, the money don't finish now. When you talk about a government that you had money in your hands, please ask yourself, how much was the oil that Nigeria depends so much on them? How much is it now? And since Jonathan, Buhari's government made way for Nigeria to get a little more space from the oil. Today, Nigeria have trade treaties with countries like Turkey, Pakistan, Italy for Solugru. They have for millet. They have for garlic. They have for so many things, even oil. They're diversifying. And somebody wants me to stand here and condemn that. No, I will not do that now. Even my belief will not let me do that. Why would I condemn everything? I won't condemn everything. If that's what you people want me to say in a platform, I'm not going to do that. Is there area they are doing very badly? Of course. Is there area they will be harsher on? Of course. Is there area they would have taken a drastic decision that they are not taking? Of course. But telling me that after Jonathan, Nigeria has been trying to diversify, move their hands in other things that can sustain them outside the oil, and somebody wants me to condemn that and write it off, and people are suffering. Is there anywhere in the world people are not suffering? Even in Norway here. Go and read about Norway. One of the most technologically advanced nations in the world. Their welfare packages are the peak, but still, are people suffering from poverty here? The answer is yes. Go and read about it and come back. And how do you say it? Verify. How do you say it?
Go and verify.
So what's the problem?
About poverty is relative. Poverty
And
is
why
relative.
is it relative? Why is it relative? Because in Nigeria, that's why I keep saying, we want to know Nigerians so that some of us can help. We want to know Nigerians because as it is now, we don't know Nigerians. The government should do more to stop this madness of insecurity in our country so that some of us can come in. Some people who has the hands to come in can come in. It's relative because in Nigeria, you cannot have a food bank. In the night, people will come and break the store and cut away with those food. In Nigeria, you cannot do anything free. As an individual, you might go bankrupt. Why? Because there is no way to track them. That's why I'm very angry with the what do you call it? That lady that was fired. Humanitarian. Oh, what do you call that lady?
Better, that lady.
Whatever nonsense you people call her.
Humanitarian affair. I
I
don't know.
was so angry with that woman because I felt that thing from the structure of that thing. It looks like a welfare ministry. I wanted her to throw things at Nigerians so that she will drag them, get their fingerprint, put everything, record them so that we can track them. I thought that young woman would have done that thing as little as that for Nigeria. But oh well, no. Government, a 30-something-year-old woman wants to be a billionaire in dollars in a twinkle of an eye. And Nigerians sit down here to condemn their government. Tell me, did the government do wrong to hand over power to such a young girl?
But Madam Zita, the government that employed her now, why didn't they vet her properly before they gave her that position?
It doesn't really matter. Did they need to verify me to know that such a thing should be done? Do they need to verify you? It is us, not our government, because nobody comes to rule Nigeria. It's still Nigerians that rule Nigeria. So, but if you people expect me to sit down here and say everything about Buhari is bad, everything about Obasanjo is bad, everything about Jonathan is bad, everything about Tinubu is bad, I will not do that. That's actually senseless. And I won't do that.
Wait, hold on, Madam Zita. Madam Zita, please.
Did they do well in some areas? Did they do badly in some areas? Obviously, yes. And that's my submission.
Ola, please hold on. Ola, hold on. Let her finish her submission. Hold on. Madam Zita, are you done? Madam Zita, are you done? Maybe she got.
You didn't hear my final submission.
What did you say?
Since the inception of Nigeria, government has come and government has gone.
Okay.
In some area, did they do some places good that sustain Nigeria up to today? Yes. In some areas, are they performing? Did they perform woefully? And the one now in some areas, is he performing woefully? Yes. Are we moving little by little? Are we getting there? We are still far away. So what the heck are we talking about?
Thank you so much. I'll come to you now, but before I come to you, God, are you still there?
I'm here.
God, please, I want you quickly, very quick, touch on this matter for me. It's bothering me.
Which one?
Tinubu said he's going to borrow 20 billion in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That is one. case you explain it to us from the legal perspective. And two, Okpebholo just won his appeal. Do you sure, or are you sure, is there any hope for PDP, for Supreme Court to turn the verdict? Please
Okay.
quickly touch it, and let me go to Ola and go to
let
Aizon
me
and create a day.
let me touch on Okpebholo first because that's my area.
Yes,
Before I go to the one that is not my area. And by the way, sorry, before I quickly touch on that, somebody tried to do a pushback on why I said I talk less about what I know little about. And he said, as a citizen, your duty is you don't need to really know much to understand why Nigerians are suffering. And that is one of the things I see in Nigerians pushing fallacious arguments. The issues I touch on is not only about suffering, and so many other issues that matters to Nigerians. And so when I said you listen to an expert, that's what they do in developed nation. It's not limited only to developing nation like Nigeria. And that is what an intellectual will do. An average citizens who want to learn, that is what you will do. For instance, if they're talking of issue of insecurity, you as a layman, there's nothing you want to know about insecurity in Nigeria. You can only touch the surface on knowledge. You can't know insecurity like an average military officer will know. There is no way. If you like, you go to Twitter everywhere, you can never know it. So if you have a friend who is in that field, who is a military officer, or who is somebody on security issue, why don't you ask? You see, it is this kind of what I call ignorance arrogance that Nigerian put that gap on that I always have issue with. If they are talking of issue of tax, you want to know tax issue more than a chartered accountant or a tax expert? It's a big no. You can't know. There's nowhere, if you like you're the best in your field, if you are not in that field, you can't know. So if you haven't, and the fact that you are even filing your tax form every now and then doesn't make you an expert. I also have 3 companies in Nigeria. I file my tax returns, but does it make you an expert? I file my tax returns also in UK because I have a company. But does it make me an expert? No, I still use an expert to do it for me. And I learn from them every day. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So when somebody mentions UN Charter, yeah, you need a lawyer to understand UN Charter. You may think you know it. You don't really know it. Sorry, let me just pick this call. I'll get back. Thank
okay,
you.
okay. Thank you. Oga Ola, you there? Oga Ola, you there? Okay, I think Ola is busy. Izon, you there? Oga
There.
Izon. Please, quickly before when you come back, what's your take on this 2 billion loan they're going to take? Is mind-boggling. But they don't say it's one, so but saying the cost of 2 years, and they want to use for infrastructure. I don't know which infrastructure they want to use it for.
Which
Can you quickly
infrastructure?
talk?
But this is the problem, right? Because we have, and I didn't even get to this point about Tinubu. He has totally destroyed the institutions of democracy that are to hold the executive's power in check. These are the kind of things that our House of Reps, our Senate, our National Assembly should be really engaging him on, questioning, bringing out the facts. But what is my brother? Our National Assembly is compromised, right? If a minister goes there tomorrow to say he wants to get appropriation for something and get bill to build something, all those guys, that committee that approves, they all have their hand inside the pocket. They all get something out of it. So any new project, anything, their money is in there. So even this loan he wants to get for whatever he wants to do, they are looking at it and saying, it's money for the boys. I'm telling you, this is the highly unfortunate, symbiotic, corrupt system that we are surviving in. That's why things never get done, right? There's a person I know personally was working as a special advisor with a particular ministry. And every time when they know they have to do something, they would go there and they would have to budget for people in that committee. What does that tell you now? So you can't even just do simple work anymore. The same egunje that everybody is collecting when you see a policeman on the street, or for instance, War Peace, there's a young boy I'm dealing with in Nigeria right now who's supposed to be traveling. He's supposed to get a police
in PCC, police certificate clearance. I just paid 150,000 a couple of days ago. Someone in
Really?
police, I'm telling you, in an area command in Abuja, so they can give the boy the thing. This is something that they're just supposed to. The boy is not Boko Haram, no criminal record, and when he's here, so he can probably attest to this. But something that simple. Everybody extorts you for everything. You want to be okay? Like same
So if
boy
I
I'm
may
dealing with.
ask, is that official rate?
No, it's not official. They were frustrated. Him talking about the NIN is not coming up, it's not working.
Okay.
This
Because
all kinds of silly excuses. And me,
because
I
in UK we pay, I think, about maybe 45 or 50 pounds, which is almost 100 plus, to
yeah,
do police thing, whether you have record or not.
yeah, that's
And
not the official
that is
rate now. It's just
I
is
think
for
it's
them to
much
get it
for
done.
Natasha. Yeah. And also, what
Yeah,
record do you even really have about Nigeria?
exactly. Police
Welcome.
clearance certificate. Oh, but this thing has taken me almost 3 weeks. Oh, the NIN is not coming up. He went to the bank verified the NIN. He went back, the NIN is not coming up. I said, my guy, he said, okay, the guy don't tell me. Oh. Say if you just pay this money. I just paid the money in under 24 hours. They gave him the thing. I like, oh, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And you see this everywhere. And so it helps you understand that even this, okay, look at what happened. I will give Tinubu's government credit for this. The fact that they came out with the e-visa. So no more visa on arrival, right? Because there are people I deal with sometimes that are brought into Nigeria over the last 3 years, and I'll pay visa on arrival. And the way you have to do it, you have to go to some immigration officer. You can't, if you go through the, try and go to the website and all, they will frustrate the process. Your person won't be able to get the visa before he comes in. You go to one immigration officer, will tell you it's $300. You pay the $300, they'll send you everything. Their WhatsApp, you don't get everything. Can you imagine? Well, please. So I was happy when they scrapped the visa on arrival. So now it's e-visa. You can even take a barcode. So the person abroad, I just send them the link the other day. They were like, "Oh, this is good." So they'll take the barcode, they get everything, they apply, boom, they get the visa. None of that. They cut out that these people
Mm.
were making money just extorting people. I'll give Tinubu's government credit for that because that affected me personally. That's a huge
Okay.
development.
Um, Aizon,
I'm
please,
sorry,
please
I went
open
on a
up.
tangent, my brother, but the
Yeah.
loan because
Let
I
let
was yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Quickly round up so that Ogbeni take the floor back,
Yeah,
and then
no,
quickly
because
round up.
I went on that tangent because the loan they're taking, right? We're not going to see our
Mm.
National Assembly really interrogate that space because if that
Okay.
loan comes in, they have to come to them for approval and they will have a hand in getting money out of it. So I was trying to illustrate that all across the line, from the small guy in a little office, civil servant, all the way up to the legislature, right? There's this method of extortion that exists. So the checks were
Mm.
supposed to have, right, for to help the citizens. These are all our representatives in government, Senate, House of Reps, are supposed to do their job. They can't do their job because they're compromised. That's the point I was trying to make. So I'll let
Thank you, sir.
Ogbeni go ahead. Yeah, no problem.
Ogbeni,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah.
You were
So
talking about Okpebholo. Mm-hmm.
okay, so yeah. I've not even started Okpebholo. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with the reason why I said people should try and consult experts. I think it's important. It makes us to learn and gain wisdom. So that said, on Okpebholo, I've said this severally here before. You see, election matters in the court in Nigeria. It's issue of policy, law, and fact. In many cases, what we have on media is sentiments, not even in the realm of fact, not in the realm of law, not in the realm of policy. That's what I've seen flying out in social media. Let me give you a good example, and I will digress a bit. I used to follow one guy, I think Shinedu. He has one channel like that that used to give. The reason why I like that channel is that he gives a day to day and step to step what is happening in Andikano case. And I follow that. I follow Namkano a lot. In fact, all his messages on Biafra radio and everything. Right from the time of 2011-12, I've been following Ambikano. So I'm following his case. So he used to give, and I realized that recently he was talking about what happened, like, yesterday or 2 days ago, when they struck out one of the conventional statements because he did not comply, DSS did not comply with the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which says that your lawyer, at least, or video recording of your conventional statement must be made if the conventional system will be admissible. And based on the fact, Justice Omotoso struck it out and said, no, this is not admissible because you did not comply with the law. And then his conclusion was whipping up sentiment to say, oh, that is even a crime. The DSS officer that did that is forgery. I don't know his understanding of what forgery is. And that's the kind of things we peddle around as when you don't talk to the experts and you only listen to people who are not an expert in the field. Okpebholo's case is a simple election matters. Election is about numbers. I said it during Obi's election when Obi lost. I said Obi indeed lost from my perspective. Why? Because I've been an officer in election before, and I've handled election matters before in the law court. I've removed a speaker before, Speaker of Delta State. So I'm not a kid in that area. So I understand what it is. There are a lot of technicalities that comes into election matters. So when you see all these judgment coming out, don't be surprised. I'm not surprised about Okpebholo's one. Why? The first reason why I'm not surprised about it is that the main people who are supposed to file the election petition for PDP, they are not even available there to file. That's the first issue I have with that case. When I saw, just the same way when I saw articles and petition back then, I said this is dead of an arrival. The only one that had substance a bit was Obi. But when you look at Obi, 3/4 of Obi election petition is just based on useless thing. Two-third of FCT, Shetima is not supposed to be qualified, and drug matter certificate and all those things. The case itself, whether he won or not, that was just one overthought. I said, this is where still have some things, but article dead on arrival. The same way when I saw Okpebholo's issue, I said, look, there's no petition here. Why am I saying so? Look at the witnesses they brought. I don't know if you have a copy. I have a copy. I can send to you word piece. I don't know if you have a copy.
I don't have a copy. I don't have a copy. I would love to see.
Oh, I'll bring it out once I get home and I send it to you. The entirety of the witnesses you are bringing, they are not witnesses that witness what transpired at the polling unit level. How do you want to prove? So somebody is sitting at the local government level, is waiting for election result to come from polling unit level. They brought it to the polling unit level, or get to the polling unit level, then he's now telling you of what happened. Sorry, they brought it to ward, from ward to local government. So this person at the local government is not telling you what transpired at the polling unit. And he's now saying, oh, so transpired the polling. It's not possible. No judge will rely on that and use that to dismantle election. Why? Because you see, the moment they declare somebody in an election petition, in an election exercise, the moment INEC declares somebody, there's a presumption in law, presumption of regularity. The presumption of regularity is that everything went well. And it's in everywhere in the world. That's the presumption in favor of the person who won, who they declare that won. That's a presumption. So it now behoves on you as a petitioner that is fighting. It's a battle, it's a war. It now behoves on you to be able to dismantle that presumption. If you are not able to heap up standard to destroy that presumption, then whatever it is must be resolved in favor of that person whose that presumption is in favor. That is what is happening in that Okpebholo's matter. It's not as if the court would say, okay, at the end of the day, since you can't dismantle this, then this thing is in favor of Okpebholo and there's nothing anybody can do. Go to court of appeal. They will go to court of appeal and they will still fail. Now, if you ask me what's the political side of it, this is what I think. And I may be wrong. I'm not from Edo, so I know the ones on ground will understand it better than myself. But this is what I think. You see, immediately after that election, I believe that the APC guys actually bought many of the polling unit guys from PDP. My belief, they are politicians. We know what they do. And I won't begrudge any of them. That's what politicians do. During Obasanjo, were they not buying? In fact, during Obasanjo, they were kidnapping polling unit agents in this same Nigeria. Except that many people, when you now talk about it now, they'll tell Obasanjo, oh, so fantastic president, I'll just laugh. Obasanjo, with all those, what he did, he called the election. They used to buy all these guys. And one of the reasons I had with Peter Obi back then was that when INEC said you did not have polling unit agents, 60-something% of polling units, Abure came out and all of them, Tanko and all those guys were backing like dogs and said, oh no, we had in fact, all our volunteers are even more than. Is the fact not coming out now to show that you did not even provide in about 60-something% of your local, you don't have polling unit and you want to win an election? So it's the same issue that I have here. So the issue I have here is the witnesses at the unit level were not really in court in order to dismantle Okpebholo's election results. And because there's a presumption that favors Okpebholo, there's nothing you can do to dismantle that, because most of those ones that came to talk, at best, you call it ESA evidence, and that cannot dismantle. So, count on my words, I don't see them reversing that decision at the Court of Appeal. Based on that reason,
no, the Court of Appeal have favored Okpebholo. Now they are headed to Supreme Court.
Sorry, at the Supreme Court. That's why I'm at the Supreme Court. I don't see anything done at the Supreme Court. That's it. Okpebholo remains your governor for the next 3 years plus.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ola.
Yeah, my brother.
Sorry for keeping you waiting.
No, I just enjoyed the talk. You see, hello, because this Nigeria issue, yeah, I think Nigeria generally is getting worse and worse. There's nothing anybody can do anymore. It's not that it started now. It started during Obasanjo time. For Obasanjo to remain in power, Obasanjo dismantled a lot of agencies, a lot of people that would have been able to build some other institutions to be strong, so that this freedom we enjoyed during Abacha, Babangida time will be there, and during Diagbo time. But because Obasanjo was scared of overthrowment, he saw these guys in power as people who have gene of overthrowing stupid government. And he was just being given an opportunity to rule, kind of almost like a compensation. So he fired people. See, people build institutions. The talk Nigerians always have problem of corruption anyway. But at least during the Diagbon time, they start doing a lot. Because during Shagari time, they are as dubious as what you see now. If this is even worse, they say was even little. Only that they didn't have the media at that time to propagate whatever they're doing. So you just see the corruption thing, everything just broke. That will cause that problem in 1982, where they could not pay salary. But now, what they're doing now, with these so-called civilians came to power, they will not say they don't have money to pay workers. They'll say they're only workers. But the person is just eating. And there's no fear of the citizen anymore. Nigerians are even hailing people even eating their money. So what is government really? Nigeria don't have government. That leaders in Norway that is saying this, if you're corrupt in Norway, you will lose everything. Might even affect your children, that your children might not even come close to any financial sector. You cannot even work for certain places. You will be rejected. Even your friends will even be the one that will report you. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. Nigeria is a very big problem. You see, corruption comes with all different type of problem. Insecurity, chaos, and everything. What brought Boko Haram? It's not corruption. The guy that formed Boko Haram, it's not because he was fighting the Northerners who were very corrupt at that time. He said they will use the name of God to come and preach to them. But at the end of the day, they will get hungry. They will steal the money. They will be having golden gates in their houses and everything. And that's how Boko Haram came. Only the Obasanjo now is debated because his protégés asked him to deal with that man. Because they were very scared. Come for the next election. Now, if this guy is so very powerful like this, he was able to convince people not to vote for them. They asked Obasanjo, if you don't deal with this guy now, this guy will be far more popular than any other thing. It will affect the way we vote. It will affect our election. Then Obasanjo ordered his policemen to kill him.
Sorry, was
Since
it
then,
Obasanjo or Yaradua?
Obasanjo was the only power that killed that man.
Was Yaradua.
It was Yaradua. It was not Obasanjo.
Okay, Obasanjo left power before they kill him?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Yaradua.
Obasanjo left. Was Yaradua in power?
It was Yaradua in power.
Okay, whatever power, they're all the same. They're all not PDP. The whole PDP. These are people.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay,
Go ahead, sir.
These are people. Then what happened? The whole insecurity they were trying to prevent bust. Then even the politician that was against that guy start using the same guy, that guy lyrics, right, to start winning an election by using the name of God. Even go to all those extremes. So you see, Nigeria be good in crookish in some serities, far more worse. And the problem is the ones that were complaining about to Buhari and Shagari regime at that time, they were very young. Most of all these men in power, they all went to free education. But they cannot provide no good education that they enjoyed during that time. Look at government schools and everything. I'm just speaking generally. You understand me? Our system is not really democracy. We're just playing around, power, using security force to intimidate anybody. And Nigeria slowly become more, I don't know, because some of them have a lot of people in abroad, and some of them just decide they don't have the power, and some of them decide, okay, we have other means of making money. See what happened in Enugu, all for the power of money. So not even the politicians, the people themselves. Those days when I was growing up, you must tell where we were seeing the way our fathers and grandfathers were making money. They have businesses, they have shops, some of them are farmers. Everything is clear. They tell you don't disgrace the name, don't disgrace the name, But what happened now? Look. Everybody just is free for all now.
You are right.
What?
I said you are right.
You are right.
Yeah, because I'm an old school, bro. If you be on a hold up in Lagos, they will rob you. In people's houses, they're going there to kidnap people. Nowhere safe. Those days, inside 80s to inside 90s, you could walk on the street, you can hang around with your friend. The armed robber was saying that the one that come and stay good. And all these things. Human being was free. But human being is not free anymore. They would say we enjoy democracy.
But there were ritualists back then too.
Yeah, but if they catch you, you'll be gone.
Yeah, because I remember that back then in Lagos, they used to write, armed robbers will write letter to different streets and they will come the same day they said they will come.
Yeah, but the security data was far more better.
I agree. I think it's better.
Lagos is not just the whole of Nigeria. You understand me? Lagos can be a little bit funny because it's a commercial hub. But at least it was far more better than what we're seeing now. In some other states, right? If you go to South, you will be in your own house, inside your living room. They will come and kidnap you there.
In fact, in the 90s, we hardly lock our doors. In my village, we hardly lock our doors.
Everywhere. If you tell Lagos out even that Lagos, they were going after this what you call area boys at that time. Is that they were really going after, but they were the one doing these things. In other places outside Lagos, you can walk on the street. Your friends will come from abroad. You and him will be walking on the leg. Morning, afternoon, in the night. You people will sit in front of people's father's house on the bench, discuss, have dreams and everything. Dreams we have it there. It's not the dreams you see now with the young ones. They're all ritualists. They're all evil. This ignorance. So that I don't to suffer. I want to suffer. Our mothers now do not have nothing. Let me just get rich. They say, Peter don't blow, Peter don't make. At the end of the day, that woman will pay a price because they will use that later to sacrifice for their whatever they want to do. She that was praising the child. Leave her, my son don't make. Why the answer I take any money? When no answer I take when they poor, I take the suffer. Not just only the government. They kidnap it anyhow. You don't know who is. They will kidnap. They'll put it on Fulani. Our own people will the one using the Fulani, or they themselves and even the Fulani. They will dress as Fulani. How can Fulani does not know your area just come and kidnap you? Don't even know your own bush.
That's a very valid point. That is a very valid point because so many crime that is going on in this country, we just tend to blame on one ethnic group or one kind of or certain kind of people because you feel that we can just use one stroke of brush to paint them one color and everybody will accept it. If you look at it, if you go look at most people they have arrested, they are local from the communities, the indigenous of that community. I'm not saying Fulani people are free, but Fulani, they kidnapping the farm. That is different from the say Fulani come and kidnapping your own house in town. And you should say it's Fulani kidnappers. I don't understand. But go ahead. I want to go to the other side.
Okay,
Go ahead, sir.
Wait,
we're
my
trying to
brother,
say,
I get one question for the Oga. One question,
Go
my
ahead.
Yeah.
Have a
So these ritualists, people they always talk say people they do ritual, they do blow. If they take ritual blood, that means rituals are working. Abi?
my
That
brother,
means whichever juju then they pray to, they really give them money.
my brother, the thing there be say only God knows. You see, Nigerians, most some of our people, they're very backward and ignorance. Even some of them go school. You see how where that money go for come? Bank money, na bank they stay. Where that we spirit or you never take the spirit, gather the cash the money for somewhere else. We say that they even print this paper money that they get them. If you go look for money, either you go rob or you carry FGM money with which this
Or
police
you go do jenge. If not jenge, I can understand. Say okay.
So where spirit, where the spirit days, spirit of money, where we just come give you the money, they.
You know,
Maybe the
I don't know why
ignorance.
I tire for the thing.
And still, there's no inflation. That kind of money, say, excess money enter the economy. Bank no go get inflation. Say excess money, receive excess money. But I don't understand where the spiritual money they come from. When bank no go
They
give,
come for
no go.
nowhere. See, the whole thing about the whole thing that just lie. Look, then they do to just they'll buy their best, maybe put poison for their stomach, we go kill them within 2 years. There's nothing else. You imagine person go join something say because it won't drive best. After 2 years, that best will be old model. Not be even new one say that they would give themselves. Useless thing. Ignorance. Just say a day some
Oga,
Mercedes Benz.
I got beg. I've been around with 2 minutes. So I quick go to Odeno say I want sleep. I beg my non vest time. We don't the assist for 12. I beg quickly. Oga not vest. I beg. Oga Ola quickly. 2 minutes. In
No
2 minutes,
shaking,
you
my
talk your
brother.
point.
Everything don't end. I just say it
Okay.
goes our thing they go worst, my brother. We don't know how we'll fit to solve this problem. If they go worst. They go
All
worst.
right.
Look,
Thank you.
no government good. We know Buhari on worst, Obasanjo worst. This one worst. You don't tell who the difference is. May God bless you, my brother.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Odeno
God
say,
bless you.
thank you, sir. Odeno say, you did there?
Yeah, I did.
I beg. I want to ask you this question before I shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Okpebholo case and Aswen. Are you sure there's hope for Aswen to win the Supreme Court verdict? And
Yeah, my brother. In the last podcast, I said it before now. I said
that
Akwakomiza will be the governor to next election.
2027. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. What about the 2 billion which Tinubu say want borrow in the next 2 years?
I don't
What is
understand why they borrow money. Should they recover loot? Abacha loot will they recover? Which they do is why when they recover loot, why do they borrow money? You cannot be recovering loot and still be borrowing. So what the loot? What do they do with the loot? They loot it too.
But this money they're going to borrow, they said not once, so is in the span of 2 years and may not
Yeah,
borrow up
but
to
no, but that's
20.
what I'm saying. EFCC they tell us of money seizure. They don't confiscate XYZ amount of money. If the government confiscates those monies, why are they still borrowing money? Why don't they just use Instead of borrowing money, the money you've confiscated, why don't you just use it for the infrastructure?
Sorry,
Yes,
So why
that's a
borrow
good.
more?
Abacha loot that they've recovered under this government, is it up to $200 million? I don't think so. I don't think
Because the figures where they call, it's almost is sometimes it's even more than what they're borrowing.
But I don't think Abacha loot
So
can.
what are they using the monies? Not only Abacha. Abacha is not the only person they are recovering from now. They are recovering from different people.
All those monies they are recovering, when you put them together, you can't push Nigeria forward. Nigeria project is
I
a
don't
massive.
think the money they have recovered is up to $1 billion as locally.
Can't push
I
Nigeria
don't think.
forward.
These are our thoughts. Can we
Ogbeni, I actually have a question for you. But
move
make you
the act
finish.
with
Make you finish.
figures? Let's
Yeah,
act with figures because down are my thoughts. And I feel say you recover monies every day from different people. Why still going borrowing? Because there's a saying, they say, he who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing. Because if you are borrowing, that means you are living above your means.
Yes, I actually think Nigeria is presently living above our means.
Yes,
And
you are living above your means.
And I think if we don't live above our means, people will suffer more. And I don't think Nigerians are ready to suffer. Even the one we are suffering presently.
Yeah, but my brother, if we look at Nigeria as it is, we can all agree that the state is retrogressing.
I don't think so.
Okay, I will tell you why. When we were young, you were talking about when we were young, how you used to walk at night freely. You used to go there freely. You can drive those days, you can drive. If you are going to the north, you can leave in the evening, so you can drive overnight and get to yeah, that's what we do. That was our way of life. We had Nigeria Airways. We had those days in school. They were teaching us the granite pyramids. They were teaching us. We had Ajaokuta Steel. We had the coal mine the coal in Enugu. We had the limestone in the west. We had rubber in Edo State. But where are we today?
So this is the way I see it. Let me quickly analyze that. Sorry.
Wait, I'm trying to explain our retrogression.
So this is the way I see it. We can be recanting all those things, but when I juxtapose it with what we have been able to gain under the civil rule since 1999, I think we gain more than the military days. We have retrogressed in some areas. In some areas, we have been able to progress. That's the way I see it. And that's why for me, I don't write off a government, like Madam Sita said. I don't pick a government and say, oh, this government is a total failure. No. For instance, Buhari, failure for me, but in some respect, I give it to Buhari. Infrastructure, I give it perfectly to Buhari. Jonathan, that everybody will criticize today. Insecurity, Jonathan is a complete failure, zero. I was in Abuja. Bomb everywhere. Nyanya bomb blast, IGP bomb blast, everywhere bomb blast, UN house. We were living in fear. It's no longer like that in Abuja. So when
those are sabotage, not sabotage.
But it's his government. What's my business? You are a president, then resign. That's why we can be blaming Tinubu now. I know they are sabotaging, but after all, there was bomb blast. Was it last week in Abuja? I know it's still sabotage because El-Rufai spoke 2 days, and then after that we saw those bomb blasts. As far as I'm concerned, I connect it straight to all those El-Rufai and also useless.
What are you trying to say, Ogbeni? Are you accusing
connection.
the little man
my brother?
in Kaduna?
I will accuse El-Rufai. You know why I'm accusing him?
Ogbeni, you are an esteemed attorney. You cannot be accusing people without evidence.
You see, Yoruba will say "Otito oro o man koro," meaning when you are saying the truth, it's always very bitter. You see that El-Rufai guy, when he was the governor of Kaduna State, we used to go to Kaduna to do cases. He turned Kaduna to a very ungovernable place. He divided that state to two. They were kidnapping children from school every day. They will kidnap them, they will pick them, they will say, it was during that time they bombed train from Kaduna to where? It was during that time
Abuja, Kaduna route.
Abuja, Kaduna. Is it vice president was going to Kaduna and his helicopter drop? You remember all those things? Our chief of army staff died in all those. It was same Buhari time. When somebody now is talking about security under Buhari, I just laugh. I say, we just forgetting so easily? We shouldn't. Maybe we should be
brothers, I
this
want to
thing.
leave now. Make I go back to work.
Thank you,
Oh,
thank you so
okay,
much.
sorry. Next time we'll
I greet
continue
Uh,
you.
with your piece.
yeah, we'll
I'll leave it
continue.
at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
brother.
I greet you now.
It's on. Thank you so much. I don't know. So thank you, Ogbeni. Thank you
Wanna
so
do
much.
well. Everyone, take care. Take care.
I'm
Thank you,
All
shutting
right.
sirs.
down.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. My people, they watch us. Mokuna, click like, share this program. This program don't come to stay. Like I said, my co-host, the moderator, Bizo J, he lost his dad. He go to funeral. He'll be back to Texas soon. And when he's back, you will see him here. We'll start to do our thing again, completely again, as we do. In day for once day Texas, me a day for Japan. But thank you for today. Thank you, our panelists. Thank you, our people watch us for YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook. Mona, click like, share. Mona, subscribe. Subscription is free. Mona, subscribe. Mona, follow. We want to take out to a different level from next week. We talk more of Nigerian politics. Talk about those state politics. We never talk about Okpebholo is politics, administration for those state. Is it kind of state well? We will talk about that by next week. But thank you everybody for joining us. I will see you guys. Uh, 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 I'll see you guys next week. In Tinubu voice, see you guys on Monday. And our Muslim brothers will next week we will celebrate your Muslim holiday with you. Thank you. Have a good night and see you guys next week. Bye for now.